Welcome to a new episode. I'm Corey.
I'm Mario. Today's guest, Pro Football Hall of Famer Dan Fouts.
Check out the Hall of Fame.
How you doing, Dan? Nice to meet you.
It's good to be with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for doing this. Welcome to the show. Your father was a broadcaster for the San Francisco 49ers. At that point, when you were growing up, was it then that you developed a love for both football and broadcasting?
Well, I was exposed to broadcasting a lot earlier than I was really to football. I would go to a lot of 49er games. There were times when I would sit in the booth with my dad and keep stats for him. And so I got to see how it all worked, and also to meet some of the other play-by-play announcers from around the National Football League. So it was a great experience, and you hope that somewhere down the line, some of these genes are the same as from father to son. But I really admired him. He had a great career as a broadcaster in the San Francisco Bay Area, and being able to sit at Kezar Stadium and watch the 49ers and have him call the game was a real dream.
It's Corey's question.
Yeah. So, Mr. Fouts, I want to talk a little football with you. I want to go back to your college days. You went to the University of Oregon, and we all know about Oregon and the uniforms and everything. Back in your day, what made you decide to go to the University of Oregon to play football?
Well, first of all, we only had two uniforms, Corey. We had home and away. We had green and white. Today is different, obviously. What made me go to Oregon was it was the only major school that offered me a scholarship. And I knew a lot about the Ducks at the time because they were one of the few teams in college football that was throwing the ball. And so, Bob Berry was the legendary quarterback for the Ducks about 5 or 6 years before me. So watching him play and the exciting style of play that the Ducks had even way back then was attracted me. And just to let you know who was recruiting me for the University of Oregon, a guy by the name of George Seifert. He was the defensive back coach at Oregon, and a San Francisco guy, went to Poly High, and that was his area of recruitment.
In 1973, you were drafted in the third round by the Chargers, and you were put in the position to play pretty early on. How do you feel like that impacted your development as a quarterback?
Well, I was fortunate to be the backup quarterback to Johnny Unitas in 1973, which was just an awesome experience because in my mind, today, he is the greatest quarterback that ever played. So I learned a lot from Johnny U, and being able to play as a rookie, I didn't play a whole lot because he was the starter. He got hurt after the fourth game, and I kind of took over after that. But the lessons I learned from him were ones that I used throughout my career.
And when Don Coryell came in as the head coach, it seemed like your career really took off. Do you attribute most of the success to him, or that style of play that transformed you into becoming a Hall of Fame football player?
I owe Don Coryell everything, basically, as far as my football career and even afterwards, because we had such great success with the Air Coryell system. We had the perfect players to implement the system, a tremendous offensive line, Hall of Fame receivers and Joyner and Winslow, and two guys that should be in the Hall of Fame, and John Jefferson and Wes Chandler as guys to throw the ball to. So the combination, you hear the term a perfect storm. Well, for me, Air Coryell and being coached by Don Coryell was the perfect storm.
Corey, you have a follow-up with that? Yeah,
I do have a follow-up. So we know you was a big advocate of Coach Coryell's getting into the Hall of Fame. How did you feel once that news came down that he was going into the Hall?
Well, it was a tremendous feeling of relief and of accomplishment. I am a selector, and so I was in that room every time that he became a finalist. And I believe he was a finalist 5 or 6 times and was rejected those 5 or 6 times. And I remember having to go out into the lobby after our meetings, and the numbers were all tallied up, and tell the family, "Gosh, I'm sorry he didn't make it again." So being able to give them a call that this time around, the seventh time, to tell them that their dad was in the Hall of Fame was just a tremendous, tremendous feeling.
Amazing.
I'm sure after pounding the table for as long as you did, and that'd be the greatest feeling, to be able to do that, give them that, make that phone call to them.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into the selection process, and it is a grind. It's about a 10-hour meeting that the debate goes on and on and on every person who's a finalist. It's a heck of an experience, and one that I cherish.
When did you realize his offense was going to change the landscape of football? I mean, we knew you threw the ball out at Oregon, but I mean, you slinged it all over the yard in the NFL.
Well, imitation is the highest form of flattery, as we all know. And so what we started to see is a lot of teams around the league doing the same things we were. And, once you have success, you lose coaches. So we had a lot of success in late 79, 80, 81. And our offense coordinator was Joe Gibbs. Well, what did Joe Gibbs do? He went to the Washington Redskins, won 3 Super Bowls with the Coryell offense. He tweaked it a little bit to fit his personnel. He had 3 different quarterbacks to win those 3 Super Bowls. But that's what happened, around the league. People started just copying. It's a copycat league. Success breeds more success and imitation.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. I'm sure you've been asked this question a million times. In 1981, you played in one of the greatest bowl games of all time, the divisional in Miami. When you guys were in the midst of playing that game, did anybody think to themselves, "Wow, we are in just a really special game right now," or or was it just sort of adrenaline was just going and you're just going to finish this out? Let's win this mother, and get this done.
Well, we weren't thinking about our place in history, that's for sure. We were worried about getting that first down and moving the ball down the field. As an offense for the Coryell system, I just couldn't wait for the next play to be called by the coaching staff, whether it was Joe Gibbs or Ernie Zampese or Don Coryell, because I knew there was a chance that on each play we would be successful. And when you expect success, you're going to have success. If you're hoping for success, you're not going to have it. When we took the field with that type of offense and that type of personnel that we had, we expected to be successful.
At the end of the half, I want to ask one more thing. At the end of the half on that hook and ladder play, were you guys just like, what the? I mean, you had to be, come on. I mean, you don't have a jump.
Yeah, I remember standing next to Charlie Joyner as it unfolded, and Charlie and I looked at each other. We chuckled a little bit, and we said, I guess this game is not over yet. So it was a great play, tremendous execution by the Dolphins. Don Strock was awesome that day. I loved the call. In fact, I loved the call so much that later that year at the Pro Bowl, we were trailing the National Conference, and we needed a touchdown. And so I got in the huddle, and we had very few time left. Instead of trying to throw a dying quail Hail Mary, I decided to call that hook and lateral. And it went for about 30 yards, but we still needed another 30 after that.
Go ahead, Corey. Sorry.
So there's a very iconic image from that game with Kellen Winslow being carried off the field by his teammates. And if you're a football fan, we all seen this image. When you see this image, what comes to mind?
Well, just a tremendous player, a great person who laid it all on the line that night. Caught 13 passes, I think 160 odd yards, blocked a field goal, a potential game-winning field goal. So the other thing that comes to my mind is teamwork, because the 2 guys that were helping him off the field, one was our left tackle, Billy Shields, who played every play that day and was equally as tired. And the other guy was Eric Sievers, our backup tight end, who, because we used a lot of two tight end formations, Eric played a great deal as well. So the fact that they were helping him off the field, the three of them, it's just a spectacular moment, a spectacular picture, and a real example of individual effort and also teamwork.
Wow. Yeah.
The following week after that, you played in the Freezer Bowl in the AFC Championship game in Cincinnati. Negative 59-degree wind chill. I want to kind of take this to broadcasting a bit. I don't know if there's a camera operator we work with every week. His father worked on that game. His name is Dave Hagan. He said that the viewfinder froze to his eye because the wind was so crazy that the condensation from him tearing up froze the viewfinder to his eye, and he had to bring out a cup of boiling hot water to get it off of his eye, off of his head. I want to know. I've read that there were icicles frozen to your beard. You could barely speak at times. Do you have any lingering effects from playing in a game like that? Because that's just crazy temperatures to be outside in. I've done a few times in Green Bay, but nothing like that.
Yeah, I got frostbite on my fingers and on my toes. Other than that, everything was fine. But I do notice it when it gets cold, that the fingers don't work as well as they used to. But, obviously, everybody wants to talk about that game and how cold it was. But you mentioned wind chill. Well, the wind was the real problem for me, because not being a spiral thrower every time like Kenny Anderson, once their ball gets out of a perfect spiral in the wind now owns that ball, and it will take it wherever it wants it to go instead of you. And so my feeling about that game is that the better quarterback won. Kenny Anderson was awesome that day, and I think he deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame because of his great career and because of that day.
Corey, you next?
So now I want to get back to the broadcast booth. We talked a lot of football. I know you called games for CBS and ABC, and you called a lot of Monday Night Football games. But if you can answer this, what would be your most memorable? And I know this is a tough question. Your most memorable Monday Night Football game you've seen and called?
It must have been the Miracle at the Meadowlands when the Dolphins and the Jets and Vinny Testaverde was the quarterback for the Jets. And during the game, because it was an ABC broadcast on Monday Night Football at the time, there was a movie coming out starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so in order to promote that movie, Arnold stepped into our booth. And at the time, Miami was way ahead. And to his credit, Schwarzenegger said that the Jets are going to come back and win this game. Wow. And we all kind of chuckled because Miami was so far ahead, but the Terminator was right. And the Jets did come back. Remember, Jumbo Elliott caught a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. That was a great game and a great prediction by the Terminator.
Wow.
So Corey mentioned Monday night. You work with a mutual friend of ours, Tony Gambino Sr. His son happens to work with us, Tony Jr., and he's a really talented kid, like literally our most talented camera guy. Dan, I'm telling you. What can you tell us about what was it like working with both Al Michaels and Dennis Miller on that show?
It was interesting. When you really don't want to say anything nice, you always use the word interesting, right? Or anything bad, I guess. It was an experience. No, there's no question. Dennis he did what he was told to do, to be himself, and he was. And it was good at times, and other times it didn't work. But working with Al Michaels was a dream come true because he's as good as it ever gets. So for me, it was an interesting ride each weekend. It was a 2-year deal. We were hoping that we could go on and on and on like Dandy Don and Frank Gifford and Howard Cosell, but obviously John Madden had his eyes on the prize, and that was the end of us. But that's okay too.
You had a chance to interview a young high school football player in the Bay Area. I recently watched a video on YouTube, and I believe that you're clairvoyant, because what can you tell us about that young high school quarterback that you interviewed?
Well, I was the sports director at Channel 5 KPIX in San Francisco, and we decided to, during football season, go around and find the top 5 college prospects in the Bay Area. And so one of the kids was this quarterback from Sarah High School named Tom Brady. And I interviewed Tom, and he was great. It basically looks the same as he does today. But then, there's 4 other kids I talk about. And then at the end of the series of interviews, I was asked who I thought would become a pretty good college football player. And of course, I picked Tom Brady, and the rest is history. But he was 18 years old, and he was a bright young man, and has turned out to be a bright older man now.
Yeah.
So when you was calling games, what would be your favorite angles to look at for replay?
Well, I always liked the Skycam, because it was intimate enough to where I could see the blocking patterns, but also could see, safeties, and if we get wide enough, then we could pick up everybody. But for drawing purposes, to show people who made a key block or who missed the tackle on the play, which guard got a double team and then came off on the linebacker. Those type of intricate things, I think, are interesting to show, and they're best shown by the Skycam. Now, if you don't have Skycam, obviously for an analyst, the next best thing is the end zone. But the end zone, you got to have it from behind the quarterback and the offense moving away from you. The other way, it doesn't work quite as well. Now, as far as using the all-22, never liked to use the all-22 out in the field. That was kind of a fail-safe angle if everything else didn't work. You'd go, well, give me the all-22 and I'll make some chicken salad out of it. But the all-22 works really, really well down in the red zone where the field is condensed, and the players don't look like a bunch of ants on the field.
For sure. How do you view the technical staff on a broadcast? Do you compare them comparing to a football team? And what position would the camera operators be playing if they were on your football team, on your team as a broadcaster?
Oh, they'd be my wide receivers. Are you kidding? They're my guys that I'm going to go to. Now, there are some, analogies with a football team and a broadcast team. One thing is you usually have the same guys every week and gals, so you can count on them. They know what you like. And if you spend enough time communicating, then you get to the point where you don't even have to ask for things. You just know it's going to be there. And so your tape operators are looking for the same type of thing, and the communication between them and the director and the AD and the producer, it's marvelous because it's live. Okay, sporting events are live. You can't go back. So as an announcer, once the words come tumbling out of your mouth, they're out there. You can't grab them and put them back in.
Yeah.
So you got to be sure and trust that the pictures that you're hoping to get, you get, and that you have the words that will match those great pictures.
It's a wonderful business. It really is. And
It
it's
is.
amazing when it all comes together. You're right. There are no second chances. It's live. And if you
Well, it's magic.
Yeah.
It's magic when I can, before a play, say, so-and-so or whatever has been really good over the middle. And so that tells somebody in the camera crew, get on him,
Yeah.
And so, wow, he catches the pass, first down, you bring the replay back, boom, 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 and you just feel like everybody has contributed to making that one play, that one replay, a huge success. It really is magic at times.
It's a good feeling when the whole crew's in sync. You're right. I agree with that. Corey, I think you have one more thing.
Dan, so what did you miss? What did you miss the most about your playing days? Like when you took the helmet off and the shoulder pads off, what did you miss most about that? And then what do you love most about when you picked up the mic in the broadcasting booth?
You know, the just the feeling of being with the guys, but there's nothing quite like stepping into the huddle when you're down and you got to go down the field and get a touchdown to win the game, and you're on the road and all hell is breaking loose, 70, 80,000 people making all kinds of noise, and you're in that huddle and you got 10 guys in that huddle with you, and they're all waiting for the call. And you could hear a pin drop in that huddle, but there's still 80,000 people yelling like crazy. And that feeling of togetherness is so, you just can't duplicate it anywhere. Now, as far as broadcasting, I have really, really been lucky because I've worked with the top guys in the history of broadcasting. And they're guys that you just say their first name. You don't even have to say their last name. How about Vern? Okay. Al, Keith, Brent. How about that? Okay. Ian. That's just 5. Okay. And I've worked, a couple of games with other guys that are legendary. Jack Buck, not Joe, but Jack, his dad. Okay. How about that? So anyway, and you know what? I even worked a Charger preseason one year with my own dad, Bob Fouts. So very, really lucky and very blessed in both my careers.
I had one more. Do you think that all of us that work on NFL games and the technical side, particularly camera operators and replay operators, should get paid a lot more money because we're a part of the replay process now?
You need better representation. Quit scratching out your own negotiations and hire somebody to. No shot, huh, boy?
That was good. That was good. That was the perfect answer. All right, I think we're done here. Thank you so much for doing this. I can't thank you enough, and I can't thank Keith enough. Keith is the one to set this up, and thank you so much for doing this, Dan. It means a lot to both of us, and hopefully I'll send you a copy of it when we're done. Thank you so much.
Hey, listen, you guys did a great job. I appreciate it, and best of luck to you. Don't ever forget what a great job you've chosen as a profession. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Dan.
So much.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Yes, sir.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Fouts, for coming on the show. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. I think we should bring him back on.
Oh, man, if he comes back on, that'd be great.
But we got to get to the next segment.
Yeah, we're going to go inside the truck with Mr. Schlo and check out our 4K system.
Oh, hey, Corey, what's up, man?
Before we get this thing started, 2 times. All right. So we have one of the great tape guys on our crew, Mr. Schlo. Let me know, what's a typical Sunday for you, and how do all this work?
Okay, we got a 4K camera here. Shooting, just you guys are so good at covering every angle and every play. This is just kind of extra coverage, in the event that something off the ball happens. Extract the video, zoom into stuff. Take this for example. But if there were, if you wanted something that maybe was here, anything that's in the shot that's in focus. You might be getting lots of penalties, holds, field goal, it's blocked, something like that. anything that's in the shot, and if it's in focus, penalty after the play, a reaction. This guy's not too happy. Extra coverage.
So let me ask this. What's your typical pregame preparation before the game starts? Coming into this room, what you do to get ready for the game, get all this stuff settled ready.
Just, make sure everything's working as it should. Talk to my camera guy. It's pretty much it. I don't know. There's not much pregame that goes into it other than to make sure that my camera guy knows what he should be doing.
Well,
Yeah,
first of all, I appreciate you doing this for us. Welcome to the Teeter Totter. Tell Mario to pay my money.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Schlo. Great job.
We enjoy coming into your world, man. Thank you so much.
Want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I'm gone.
You're gone. Yeah, we're gone too. If you want to email us, it's teetertotterpod@gmail.com.